It is a profound honor to stand with you here today, speaking from a place where generations of my family's footsteps have never ventured before, until now. As members of Western Oregon University's class of 2025, we stand proud as part of a community where 41% of our peers come from diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds. Nearly half of the graduating class of 2025 will be the first in our families to soon graduate with a bachelor's degree. And today, we celebrate. We celebrate the range of our class, from the first of our generation students to the ones joining their families and holding their degree. From the student who came straight from high school without pause to the one who finished ahead of schedule. From the student balancing their education with jobs or athletics to the student who puts down their pencil at the end of every day to pick up the role of parent and caregiver. From our veterans and active duty service members to our transfer students, the returning students, the international students. From the students pressing forward with their disabilities, to the students who have navigated through trauma and loss to make it here. Perhaps you see yourself in many of these roles, or perhaps in just one. Regardless, resilience can look differently for everyone, but today, it looks like all of us. I encourage you to pause and consider the space you hold in this moment. What did it take for you to be here? What sacrifices have you or your families needed to make? If someone were to learn from your journey, what truth would you want them to carry? I asked myself these questions, and their answers revealed a meaningful realization. If you've ever played or observed a game of tug-of-war, you would know how absurdly taxing it is. The game is a contest of strength between two teams who pull on opposite ends of a rope, where the objective is to tug the opposing team across a central marker. For 14 years of my life, I clung to that frayed rope as if it was my lifeline, praying I wouldn't lose my footing and forfeit everything. At first, there were a few forceful tugs that I was confident I could endure. Since the age of 6, I would board a flight upwards of 6 times per year, not knowing what big life changes I would miss each time. The birth of my siblings, marriages, achievements and graduations, or even death. I remember looking out the airplane window as it backed out of the gate and feeling the most dissonance, convinced that I did not belong anywhere. The rope soon began to weather. My palms at this point in the game ignited with the searing pain of that taut rope and its unraveling fibers. A feeling I'm certain many of you have experienced for yourselves in your own lives. Suddenly, it wasn't just the rope I was braving. My feet began to slip on the muddied floor of that game as I began to experience bold acts of discrimination and injustices unproportionate to the tools I was equipped with. And the pulling of life's challenges did not cease then. So often in life's game of tug-of-war, temptation whispers in your ear, coaxing you to let your hand slip on the rope for a moment of relief, never warning you of the progress it quietly threatens. In times where you feel lost or discouraged, where the system's force is so great it draws you closer to the threshold of defeat, I urge you to remember this. You stood here today because you didn't let go. You may have stumbled and fallen 1,000 times getting to this stage, but you persevered through the pain and made it here. For years, my thoughts remained tethered to the stinging of the rope's burn and the oppression of a muddied foundation. But it was here at Western where I learned that if you haven't found your place in the world, it's because you were destined to build one. And here you have the biggest team to help you do just that. So as you embark on your journeys outside of undergrad, consider how in a time where lines are drawn more than the bridge is built, our differences unite us. I can't guarantee that you will never lose your footing again after this, but what I can promise is that when you find yourself slipping on that rope, you can find support in your team, because at the intersection of our differences is where you'll find strength. Graduates, may you find the strength to grow your roots, watered by advocacy and nurtured by compassion. Y a mi equipo, and to my team, los Pachecos, Garcias, Sorianos, Pérez, Morales, Durán, and Guerreros, los que llegaron sin nada y me lo dieron todo. Sí se pudo. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2025. We did it.